All right, good morning, everybody. Um, Today we got another special treat. It's a continuation of the cracklins I put in the freezer from the last time I made them. We're gonna do them today. We're gonna do them with red salsa. We're gonna use this one that I bought at the store because we don't have none fresh that is made. So this was good enough. It's salsa caseras from Head of This. It's got everything you need. It's a lot of season. It needs a little essence. And for the essence, of course, we're gonna use onion, sea salt, some to taste, and comino, which I love to use. And we're gonna make them with nopalitos. Usually nopalitos from the garden. They still need to be cleaned. Basically, I gotta shave them off, all these little spines there. Shave all that off, clean them up, wash them. Then I'm gonna slice them up in little pieces, and then I'm gonna use green onion and 3 cloves of garlic smashed up, and of course we're gonna have eggs, with the meal. And we're gonna do the beans that we usually buy. It's already seasoned, still needs some essence. We're gonna use a little bit of bacon grease, salt and pepper for the beans, and probably a little bit of comino, and probably some onion powder as well. I'll just, as it goes. But basically, I'm gonna get all this processed and get this done, and I'm gonna get busy, hands-on. So, what I usually do on these cactus here, if you buy them at the store, they're already cleaned. But if not, then you gotta use a sharp blade and just go down and shave them like this. Go down carefully and take them all off and clean them real good. And that's what you don't want. It's got little bitty spines on there, and do flip it around. It's a little process. I'm gonna save all the agony having to watch me do this. But basically, that's what I'm gonna do. I got 3 to do. Cut them up. And right there where I have a little damage from the wood's damage, just cut it off and go down the line. Finally, my cactus plants are finally putting out after that freeze we had a couple of seasons back, and it's starting. This is the first batch it put out. Last year didn't put out anything, and now it's finally putting out this spring. So the plant's getting better. It's growing good. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay. So let me get back with you, clean all this up. I gotta work on my area. I'm gonna chop these up into little pieces and get them in a pan, and we'll pick it back up once we get this breakfast going. Okay, here we are. I already cleaned out the nopalitos. What I did, I shaved off all the little stubs on there, little spines. Cleaned it all off real good, washed them, rinsed them, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to quarter them. And basically what I do is just cut them up like this. And if I have enough of them, I'll cook them up, or sometimes I leave them fresh in the refrigerator, and I add them to my smoothies, or else I just cut them up for everybody gets to use them however they want to use them. You're usually the only one that eats them, me and my mother. So my grandma used to love these. I used to cut them for her all the time. But basically I just cut them up like this. Them to the side, and that's the process there. And I get them all cut up, and it's gonna go into the guisal with a chicharrones that I'm gonna chop up, and of course I'm gonna do some eggs on the side. Of course, green onions is gonna go with this, and the minced garlic is gonna be chopped up real good. Mix it with the sauce along with the red salsa, and pretty much that's the way it goes. And we'll pick it back up once we get more of the process going and get it on the grill. Okay, I decided to add a couple more onions to the mix here, and of course y'all know what I'm gonna do with these. Put these back into the garden to grow some more onion. And unfortunately, these are from the store because we had a big dish we had to do. And I'm gonna add 1 pepper to give it a little kick. And I noticed we're out of cilantro, but fortunately we always have dry cilantro. But this is good, but it's only for last alternative if we don't have it. I went out to the garden, thought I had plenty of cilantro. It turned out to be parsley. So I did find some cilantro, but it was not fully formed yet, and it's in this form before the leaves. Now it's very pungent. It smells really good, feels like cilantro, but I gotta clean this up and just use the smaller leaves. And these seeds here, I'm gonna pluck them out, dry them, take them off just like that, put them to the side, in a little cup and let them dry. I'm gonna replant those, but I'm gonna have to clean this up real good and just use these small little leaves. And it's got real good cilantro flavor seasoning. It's really good. It smells really good. So I'm gonna use this. Plus, if I have to, I'll use some of the dry. But this doesn't have that much smell. But it is cilantro. You know, always buy it. Always good to keep it in case you don't have it in the garden. So I try to always grow it. But right now, the season's not quite there to leaf this out. But it did have the leaves earlier. Now it's in this form, but it's still good. So I'm gonna pick it up right there and get everything together and get everything cooking. Okay, let me show you how I cut these cracklins. Okay, basically this is a cracklin. It's got the skin on top, got a little bit of fat in there, and it's got a little bit of meat, and you get a good. What I like to do is cut them up just crossways, but you gotta put a little bit of pressure in there, like this, and there we go. Okay, so what we have there, this is a finished cut right there. And I like to do them all like this, and then get them into the pan, and to start the guisado. And I'll get back to y'all as soon as the process is almost complete and getting them on the grill. Okay, we got the pork rinds in the skillet. It's ready. I'm gonna add the salsa to it. There goes the salsa, and what I'm gonna do is add some water, and it's going to reduce. There we go. We added some water. I might have to put some more water in there, but I forgot we're going to have to put some of that bouillon for flavoring and all these seasonings right there per taste. I don't. There's no measurement depending on how much you're making. So I'm going to stir that up right there and probably keep adding water, and it reduces and the flavor concentrates, and add more water until the cracklings are the tenderness that I want. And that'll be the guisado right there, the chicharrones guisados. And once that's complete, then we'll do the eggs. But later on in the process, probably within the next 30-40 minutes, I'm going to add the nopales and the onions and the garlic, which I have ready to go right there. I still got to cut my cilantro down, so I'm working on that, and the pepper. I'm going to add all that, have it ready, and probably add it once the process is done, once it's already been cooked. So I'll come pick it up later. Okay, here we go. I got the color exactly how I liked it. I already added the one serrano pepper, cut it up. I took the seeds out. I don't want too hot, and the heat will reduce once this cooks long enough. But I just added a little bit more water. It was boiling up pretty good. I'm about to put the garlic and the onions in there. I'm going to save the nopalitos for a little bit later. I already put about a spoonful of the tomato paste of bouillon, and I put about a teaspoon of each. I didn't put no salt because this has salt, so I'm going to be on standby for that. And about a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, but salt will be later per taste. Right now, it tastes pretty good, and I'm going to cook it down for probably about a good hour. You know, cook it nice and slow. That way it gets nice and tender. And then I'll start the eggs, and probably in about another 20-30 minutes, I'll add the onions and the garlic, and then I'll add the nopalitos towards the end. Keep them nice and fresh. But I mean, I could put it earlier. It all depends on the texture of the cracklins, and then that's what I'm going for. I'm going for once they're halfway tender from what they are now, I'll start adding everything else in. Okay, we'll pick it back up, and then I'll start working on the beans and everything else, and breakfast will be complete probably around 7 o'clock right now. Okay, we're back in the kitchen here, and I just tasted them. They're ready. It's been 29 minutes, and it's time to add the nopalitos. Now, I might have to add a little bit more water. Because we'll see about this, but the flavor is just right. And these nopalitos cactus are gonna release a little bit more moisture in there, and it's gonna thicken up the sauce. So I might have to add a little bit more water, but we're probably gonna cook them up for about another 20 minutes. I'm gonna get everything else going. I have I got the A little bit of bacon grease in there, ready to put the beans. And of course, I'm going to put some of the essence in there. Salt, pepper, comino, onion powder. And that's going to be frying up. And then we're going to get our eggs going once everything's complete and get it plated. Okay, I might have to, so far I've added about 3 cups of water at a time. 1 cup, and then later on as it reduced, another cup. And I check the texture, and it reduces down. I add another cup, and I might have to add another cup now. You got to be on top of it. And if you want it more watery or thicker, depends. You add more and more water or less. It depends how you want it. If you want to add more seasonings, you add more seasonings. I put 1 pepper in there. It got kind of hot, but now it kind of reduced down. And I went out to the garden. I had 2 jalapenos. They have no flavor. I mean, they have plenty of flavor, no heat whatsoever. So I added that. It's like adding bell pepper. Good flavor. That's all it was. So right now the heat's just right, tolerable. And yeah, we're going to take it up from there. Okay, we got the beans ready to go. They're starting to reduce down. I forgot to mention I add garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of salt, pepper, and the comino. Okay, and of course it's got about 2 spoonfuls of bacon grease on the bottom. I'm going to get that stirred up and get these refried. The package says the beans are seasoned, but I didn't taste it at all. I have no season, not for my tasting or for our tasting. So basically, there we go. Get that going, and we'll pick it back up. Okay, everything is coming along really nice. The beans are percolating there, and what else is percolating? Look at that! Isn't that look good? Nopalitos is a good staple. We eat it all the time. You can add it to tuna fish with pico de gallo, fresh with lemon pepper, or you could add it to pico de gallo. You can make green salsa with it. You could just throw it fresh into the blender and eat it with a spoon. As long as you get that into your system, it's good for you. Look at all the beneficiaries that you have with cactus. They're selling it. You don't have to grow it. You can buy it. It's real cheap. It's not that expensive. And you can stretch it out. You can freeze it and use it in smoothies. And whichever way, I really think this is probably one of the items or the nutrients that help me kick the high cholesterol and the high blood pressure that I had about 3 years ago when I got out of real estate. That drove me crazy. But of course, dieting, you have to diet and add this as a supplemental nutrient to your diet. And I try to eat it as soon as my plant starts producing. I try to eat it every day, every other day in smoothies and whatever meals. Add it to soup, chicken soup. You can add it to anything. Just have them in the freezer. Throw it to anything. I eat them fresh right off the after they're cleaned and washed. I eat them fresh, and they got a little bit of a lemon taste. That's the acid that the nopales has, and it's really good for you. And I like it just like that. It's real peasant food, and I love it. It's Mexican peasant food, and man, that's just the best, man. Even Italian peasant food, potato, what's that? That potato soup. It's like a peasant food. It's really good, but it's potato and noodles. I forgot what you call it, but it's a really good food. Every culture has something basic, cheap, that's made. It's when times are hard, and nopales is one of those staples in Mexico. That tortilla, frijoles, and nopales, man. That's a staple. You could live on that. But we'll pick it back up on the plating. Percolating. Okay, I got my tortillas from the tortilla factory, the micro tortilla factories, going pretty good. And the chicharrones con nopalitos are kicking back just fine. I got the beans on standby. And say hello to my little eggs. Nice and cheesy. Got the Mexican shredded cheese on top of that. And they're just cooling down right now. And I'm fixing to start the plating, and we'll pick it back up. All right, it's 7:49. 45 minutes later, I got my corn tortillas warmed up, ready to go. And seems to be the only one awake right now to have breakfast. But everything's done, and I'm good to go. Start the day off like a champ. See ya.